Okay, I guess it's time to start. Welcome to this APSCE webinar created by the Special Interest Group, CSCL and Learning Sciences, and thank you all for joining us. I'm Leka Schnaubert, and I'm delighted to have two speakers today. We have Elizabeth Koh from Nanyang Technological University in Singapore and Yang Hwan Cho from Seoul National University in South Korea. And both are distinguished researchers in studying social and collaborative learning processes aided by various forms of technology. So today we will talk about the evolution of CSCL and discuss human-to-human and human-to-AI collaboration. So our speakers will first present their work and ideas on this, and then our co-chairs, Aditi and Alvin, will facilitate the discussion with some follow-up questions. So for the audience, do use the Q&A function so you can get your questions in and include them in the discussion. Without further ado, I give the floor to you. I think, Elizabeth, you want to start.
Hi.
Looking forward to your talk.
Thank you so much. So I'm just going to share my screen. Thank you so much for being here. Hope you see my slides in the correct mode. Great, thanks. Thanks for coming for this webinar that we have organized. I'm also part of the SIG on CSCL and Learning Sciences. But today I have the honor of, and together with Yong-Han, to share with you about this interesting topic of the evolution of computer-supported collaborative learning, human to human versus human to AI. So I'll be looking at the first part of the presentation of this webinar and followed by Yong, and I believe questions will be at the end. But you can also drop some questions in the chat if you have any questions along the way. So we start off with a more historical perspective first of the evolution of AI developments. So you can see from this image and timeline that there has been many developments. So from a historical perspective, actually AI has been here for a while. It has been since if you go back to historical perspectives, how technology has evolved. I will not go through all the details, but you can see in the AI world, basically large language models only came in around 2020 onwards, or 2022, when ChatGPT was launched. But before that, there was actually quite a lot of developments in order to get to here in the large language models. So you have actually the first robot, digital logic. They talk about the Turing test, how a computer can be called intelligent. And also there are different aspects of developments, as you can see from here. So we are now in the stage of 2025 and above, and a lot of people are talking about agentic AI and so on, which we will highlight a bit more as we talk about how CSCL and will interact with humans as well with AI. So looking specifically at AI in education, this is a paper in 2020 that actually tried to see how AI has evolved in education. So in the 1920s, there was actually something known as a teaching machine, where basically a computer was used to actually to help the student to learn. So that was the teaching machine. And then then there was a development of adaptive teaching machines, or self-adaptive or adaptive learning, as we are knowing them right now. So it's related to intelligent tutoring systems, or ITS, which was done in the 1970s. And now onwards in the 1990s, there's a lot of more learning applications with chatbots. So chatbots have been around, but as a way of using AI to learn. But now it has, you can see that there's now using large language models. And in this next diagram of timeline, I wanted to just share about learning analytics because it's quite related to AI. It focuses more on how data is used as a way of giving feedback to learners as a part of the model in analyzing how learners learn. So you can see here that so there's a bit of AI. There's an early idea of an early intelligence tutoring system, and then a lot in the 1970s, the AI techniques were incorporated in computer-assisted training, and then 1980s where the learning sciences emerged. So I want to also briefly highlight that because we're also part of the learning sciences, where we want to understand how learning happens in a very systematic and scientific manner. And you can see here there's a lot of online learning that came out in 2000s, where there was the first MOOC, the massive online community, and then you have also then in 2010s, that's where actually learning analytics, the name came about because there was the first learning analytics and knowledge conference that was established in 2011. And this was also the time that even educational data mining was also established, the society was established. So you can see here it's very similar to basically you can see more and more things happening using data and also the integration of AI with learning analytics. And so this is my last timeline figure to actually highlight overall key milestones in EdTech, CSCL, and AI. So previously I haven't talked about CSCL, I just talked about learning sciences, right? But actually the term CSCL, this is one of the resources from I think Kalisa et al. So they actually highlighted that the term CSCL was first introduced at a multidisciplinary workshop in Italy in 1989. And this is around the time, so just before this, a few years back, the internet was launched. So there's the idea of people can be able to learn together using computers. And that was the 1980s. And then 1990s, a lot of even though there's internet, many of it was, I would say, desktop bound CSCL systems, people developing tools, cognitive tools or collaborative tools to learn. And then this is where the conferences, so basically the society also started, the conference started. So this is where the first international conference of the learning sciences was started in 1991. And then similarly, 1995, or 4 years later, there was the first CSCL conference. And also in 1997, the International AI in Education Society was established. So you can see that there are more and more interest as well as developments in this field of using CSCL and AI. And then in 2000s, we've moved really online to web-based platforms and online learning communities. And there was a journal, the IJCSCL was launched. And I also double-checked with our colleagues at APSCE. In 2008, this track, this SIG2 on CSCL and learning sciences was formed, as well as the different in the ICCE conference. This is where they had different tracks also in CSCL and learning sciences, as well as other tracks for other topics. This is where it was formed around 2008. Yeah, so that was interesting to note. So it's around this time, because it's more than I would say more than 15 years already. So we have been around since 2008, and so this you can see that there's interest and there's also research and development in this area. And I mentioned the first Learning Analytics and Knowledge Conference, and then in 2021, the ICLS as well as CSCL combined in 2021. And then after that, 2022, the LMM ChatGPT 3.5 was released, and this kind of brings us to where we are today. Lots of AI and developments in this technology world where we can learn with the AI, with the technology tool. And so now I'm going to look at different now shifting frames from the historical perspective. You can see there's a lot of developments since I would say especially in the since 2000, there's a lot of work done using data, using AI tools, and definitely in the 2020s, and now you can see even more proliferation of AI tools in our lives, as well as developments and research for education. So what does that mean? So we talk about the evolution through these timelines. But so now when we talk about humans and AI, compared to computers or learning with humans, how can we understand this? So I'm going to show you a framework that is a 2x2 framework. It's a quadrant typology of human and machine interactions. And I'm casting it in the light of CSCL and AI. So how I'm going to share with you is like basically this diagram framework comes from Lodge et al. In 2023, also related to Gen AI. So I'm going to the left hand side here, which is to do with an individual that's interacting with a computer or CSCL or AI tool. There are two ways that the individual can interact with that tool. First is to offload. Basically, cognitive offload is the idea that you want to make things easier for yourself, so you give that cognitive or the processing to that AI or that machine, and then you as the learner is able to do something else because or you are able to see the results from that machine, so that you're able to interact with that. So that's the idea of offloading. Then the second aspect as an individual is the idea of extending. So you are using the tool to help you extend your mind, in the sense that you are trying to stretch your thinking or your learning due to the affordances or what that tool is able to provide you with. Okay, so this idea of individual either offloading or extending, which is, so basically it's human to human. It's still human to human. You're just using the tool, the AI tool, and these AI models to actually help in that process. So it's human to human. Later on, I'll go into human to AI, which is this second section here. So let me just give you examples from the work that I have done, which if I'm using this typology to highlight human to human with facilitated by AI tools, as well as related CSCL tools. So my work has been in this top layer, a lot of my work, because we are using these tools to actually monitor student behavior and learning, to also help in the grading or assessment of data, learner data, and give them feedback. Okay, so let me share an example from one tool my team has developed, which is called Reread. So the idea is of Reread Plus. Let me highlight the pedagogical background first. It's using CSCL, assessment for learning, dialogic learning, and multiliteracies. So how this is done is then shown or enacted is we have basically a multimodal text space for learners to read. So basically the teacher puts in the text, and then the students can actually read this text, and then they can annotate, they highlight, and then they can interact with each other, they can reply to each other. So that is, so basically you can annotate in using, and when you annotate, which is when you highlight, you can actually label it with two tags. And these tags are actually metacognitive scaffolds to provide structure and to focus one's thinking and regulation. So they are in a sense manual. It's human based. It's you choose the tag that you would like to use, and then so it helps you to think or activate your thinking in this idea. So the tag's actually to do with the lesson that the teacher wants the students to learn about, and then you can reply to each other. So that's the dialogic learning to deepen engagement levels and collaborative critical literacy skills. Then on the right hand side, you can see here we have the other aspect, which is the dynamic formative learning analytics dashboard, which gives feedback to the learner on what different aspects that they have done using this whole in their annotating and their reading. So we actually give quite basic feedback. So first, we actually, I won't go through all the feedback that we have, but they are to do with the tags that you can see here, the metacognitive scaffolds, like what tags did they use. We also have a word cloud and of what words they have posted. And then there's also some target setting that we put as a way to regulate their also learning, like how many annotations you have to do, how many replies you have to do. Yeah. So this serves as visual feedback of learners' learning progress, allows the learner to monitor their learning progress, as well as the teacher. So we have a teacher version of this to monitor them. So this is, I would say, just learning analytics first at the first layer, but we also went to try to develop an assessment of the tags or basically what the students, whether when they chose the tag, their writing, whether it's accurate or not so accurate. Okay, so what we call auto checker, and this is only for the teacher. So this uses an automated text analytics function for the basically it's NLP, where we actually before, I mean, there was a lot of work trying to get this done, but basically we had to there's manual coding, and then basically there's an NLP algorithm that tries to look at, say, there's this tag called ideate and message. So for example, for the tag ideate, the text that students wrote, is it accurate, or is it, so we check whether it is accurate or not. So in sense, this is the assessment aspect, and then we also add another layer of probability, because we know that AI tools also are not 100% accurate in that sense. So we also highlight the accuracy of that in terms of the predictive power. Yeah, so I mean, in this case it's 100%, but there are like other ones, like you can see here, it's not so lower in probability. So this gives the idea to the teacher for this message that the students posted, whether the tags that they have used are accurate or not so accurate. Yeah. So then this is, so we actually trialed this out only at the end, when the development or the main trial was over. So we were not able to get, in a sense, we were not able to use this during the main students trials, but we asked teachers for their feedback and how they found this. Yeah. So I not go through the details too much, but just to highlight that this gives teachers a sense of where their students were, so that they could see, if students, for example, how they could apply it. It was like, if they know that, there's actually a lot of things are green, that means students actually understand, they know how to use the tags that they have taught in class. Yeah, but if, say, a lot of things are red or orange, that they know that the teacher will know that, okay, so I think the students don't really understand this term, this tag that they use, and they will have to give more examples, or highlight to students so basically what the tag means and how they can apply it in their lessons. Yeah, so that's the idea of how this can be used, and this is example of earlier what I mentioned. It's to do with sense cognitive offload, because it helps to assess in that sense, and then the teachers will be able to do other things. So another quick study that quickly want to share is this idea of monitoring a generative AI word cloud. So this was just it's more of using Gen AI to create a word cloud, and we actually asked two different teachers. What is a very small sample size, I know, but we asked two teachers what word cloud they would prefer. And okay, so all these word clouds were from the same data set. It was the same text. And I mean, the students will comment, they were also using like something like reread, where they would have to read an article, and then they actually replied to each other, and they discussed this article or newspaper article that was talking about, in Singapore, what is known as their year 6 or their grade 6 PSLE mathematics examination, and then is this a thorn in the side of parents or a challenge to embrace. So this was article that was obviously that's the topic of the article, and then students were discussing about this topic. And then we asked these two teachers, so what would be useful for you as a teacher in terms of which word cloud? Yeah, because they're all generated or developed from different ways. And I don't know if you can write in the chat, what do you think will be the most useful, if A, B, or C? Which do you think teachers will find most useful? You can just throw a guess. Okay. So I guess I can't see everybody's chat, but anyway, so we had two differing views, but I think also I'd like to highlight the A was actually the normal word cloud. So it just looks at frequencies from the word directly. So the bigger the word, is the larger the frequency. B was using generated by a version. Basically it was a NLP version, where they tried to highlight or reduce words that were not so relevant to the conversation. And lastly, C was using Gen AI. This is ChatGPT 3.5 at that time. Yes. And so this one, part of the prompts was asking the algorithm to basically what to highlight important words and topics for discussion. So this is a way that the teacher as well as the student can see what has been discussed overall in the text by the different participants in that discussion. And you can some teachers, so in our interview with the teachers, actually we had teachers who preferred A as well as teachers who preferred C. Yeah, so because A, they felt like, oh, it shows them the actual words that the students use. Then C, they preferred C because they felt that C was help them to zoom in straight away to the more important topics that they would like to discuss on. So this teacher mentioned, oh, like the appeal. What's the appeal of using this topic? And then the big focus on tuition. Then the other thing about the image. What is the image of parents and students and so on. So that's why this other teacher preferred C. Yeah. So I guess I just want to highlight that this is a way of highlighting or using AI tools. It's still learner to learner. You're still learning with learners, but you're using them to actually help you see things that you may not have seen and be able to learn new things, or because the tool gives you more information. Okay, I will quickly highlight this. The Teamwork Intelligence of Tertiary Education, it's known as TIDE for short. So this is a tool that uses learning analytics and AI to help provide data-driven teamwork intelligence from self and peer ratings and team chat logs. So the idea is to actually give students feedback on their teamwork as they work in teams. And we focus on 4 dimensions of teamwork, as well as the pedagogical framework is this team and self-diagnostic learning pedagogical framework, which the reference is here. I'll not go through in details. But we focus on, as I mentioned, 4 dimensions of teamwork. You can see here, these are the 4 dimensions. And the AI aspect is where we actually derive from the team chat, which we have developed over time, a teamwork text classification system, where we actually are able now to, based on what students write in the chat, we're able to identify which dimension, what that text and that dimension of teamwork it is about. So in this case, this is, you can see there's a drill down when you basically click on this chart. You can see what the colors. There are 3 lines. These are chat lines. 3 lines that are related to mutual performance monitoring. That's one of the dimensions of teamwork. And then you can see things that are to do with Googling or checking is to do with mutual performance monitoring in the team. Yeah, so this is their team chat. And so we use this as a way for students to reflect about their team work based on their chat. And then they basically, after this, they will look back and identify what went well or what didn't go so well in their teamwork, and then they will set targets or goals for their future teamwork. So this is a way to help them really reflect and feed forward as part of their learning. So this also helps them is, as you can see, it's still learning together, and it's using these tools to learn, cognitively offload something so that you can able to do other things. Next, I'll quickly go through extend learning. So this is just one example. There are others, but there's an idea of extending learning because, for example, so personalized textbook is one where the textbook or the things that you're supposed to learn is personalized for you. Okay, and this is another tool that is many countries all over the world and systems are developing. Tech tools are developing, and this is one from in South Korea. So actually, it was going to launch mass in 2025. So actually, Yonghan was telling me about it, and then there was it was actually done for 3 subjects, but then there was a turn, and then it's paused right now. But it's you can see that there are a lot of things in this AI textbook where students are able to basically learn at their own pace. They are able to they're provided what they need to learn in just in time and based on their yeah, in sense interaction and performance using that tool. Yeah, so it's an AI embedded textbook. So this is another way to extend, or basically this example of extending mind and also learning collaboratively in a sense of together as a whole class. Yeah. Okay, so now let me go to the other dimension, which is the other side, which is the collaborative dimension. So this is the human to AI part, the collaborative aspect, where also once again when you collaborate with the AI, and I'm saying this in terms of AI agent, you can also co-regulate, or you can have this idea of hybrid intelligence. Okay, so let me give you examples what I mean. So when you co-regulate with AI examples, it can be a writing companion, such as checking and assessing your writing and funding. So you write together with the AI agent. And then for hybrid example, basically you are learning together with the AI. So it's a hybrid learning. The agent is basically learning with you either as a tutor or as a peer learner. So I'll quickly show you some examples. So Grammarly, I think some of you already use Grammarly too. So it's a commercial tool. It's free, but they also highlight that you actually when you write your tool or essay and you check it with Grammarly, you're actually using AI agents. Yeah, and then they highlight what AI agent does, and they highlight how it's useful for your learning. Okay, another example for the tutoring part is there are a lot of chatbots out there. And so many people are developing chatbots, AI, LLM based chatbots. So this one is called Teacher Gaia. It's developed by my colleagues also at NIE, by Ali et al. And this is actually more for teachers. It's for teachers and it contains a library of tools to help teachers teach, yeah, to help them know about different learning models such as inquiry-based learning, knowledge construction, and self-assessment. Yeah, so this is example, and it doesn't give the teacher or the user the answer. It will actually give the way that you can see this. So this example from knowledge construction. So the user asks a question, but the chatbot, the Teacher Gaia chatbot, asks the user back, and then tries to work out the answers with the student. Yeah. So that's a way of personalized scaffolding with a chatbot. And last, so that gives, I would not go through any more details, but this gives the idea how humans and AI agents can collaborate, right? So in this case, the teacher works, or basically the user works very closely with the chatbot in order to learn together. Yeah, so I'll hand this time over to Yong. So I'll stop sharing my screen.
Okay. Okay. Elizabeth, thank you for your explaining explaining the history of AI and CSCL. I think your conceptual framework about the role of AI in collaborative learning, that framework I think is very useful. So I will more focus on the human to AI collaboration in my presentation. Our understanding is quite limited when it comes to how humans interact with the AI in educational settings and how it differs from human to human collaboration. Okay. Yeah. So in this study, it's conducted by Dr. Morrison and her colleagues. Researchers investigated what happens when AI gives incorrect predictions or incorrect explanations. The task was to identify the name of a bird, and they collaborated with the AI to figure out the name of a bird. In this graph, we can we can find that experts, this graph is expert performance. When experts collaborate with the AI, they show the more higher performance than the novices. Novices they were often affected by the AI's incorrect prediction. We compare the two types of interactions, learner to learner and learner to generative AI, in my study. The key question was this: which one is more helpful for college students when discussing a GMO problem, talking with a human partner or generative AI? In this study, the AI was designed to challenge students' arguments and ask high-order thinking questions. We found that generative AI was actually more effective than a human partner in terms of knowledge acquisition here and problem solving. However, when it came to learning flow, there was no significant difference between the two groups. This finding implies that students were just as engaged when interacting with the generative AI as they were when talking with a human partner. On the left side here, you can see an example of a learner interacting with a generative AI. And on the right side, this is a conversation between human and human partners. With the human partners, the learners often spend time agreeing on the format of the discussion, and they also share their knowledge before talking about the topic. In contrast, when talking with the generative AI, learners tended to focus on the content of argument. So this shows the generative AI have to reduce the cognitive load that usually comes from managing the format and the procedure of the discussion. So that's the reason why interacting with the ChatGPT, the generative AI was more beneficial for knowledge acquisition and problem solving. We also conducted another study about the individual differences in how learners interact with the AI. For example, in this study, about 20 EFL learners wrote English essays using AI translator. It is called Papago. The Papago is developed by Korean company. It's an AI translator. We found three different patterns of interaction between a learner and AI translator. First, the limited interaction group. These learners used the AI translator only a few times, but when they didn't like the result, they stopped using it and they wrote an essay by themselves. Interestingly, these students tended to have a higher writing skills, I mean. In the second group, learners in the AI-dependent group usually wrote essay in Korean first. They wrote the essay, entire text in Korean, and then copied it to the translator and simply used the translation outputs as it was. So I think they overly relied on the AI translator. The third group, the last group, is a collaborative interaction group. These learners worked back and forth with the AI. If they didn't like the translation, they modified either their input or the AI's output. As a result, the final essay reflects a mutual interaction between the learner and AI. We investigated their perceptions about the AI translator. The collaborative interaction group perceived that this gray color group that group perceived the AI translator more positively in terms of the usefulness and ease of use when compared to the limited interaction group. And AI-dependent group also rated the translator higher for of fluency and usefulness than the limited interaction group. However, when it came to trustworthiness, there were no significant differences among the groups. These findings show that effective collaboration occurs when both learners and AI contribute to the task, without learners relying too much on the AI. This raises an important education question. How can we help learners avoid over-reliance and instead engage in more collaborative interaction with the AI? So we want the students to move from this AI-dependent interaction patterns to collaborative interaction with the AI. Improving human-AI interaction is not a simple task. That's because learners, AI systems, tasks, and context all influence each other in complex ways. From an educational perspective, we need to enhance the factors on learner side, such as their knowledge, attitude toward the AI, and their understanding of task and metacognition skills. In our interviews, we found these characteristics of learners play an important role in interacting with the AI. For example, we can teach students how to write prompts when working with the generative AI so that they can engage in more collaborative interactions. In another study, a teacher taught high school students how to write a prompt for generative AI, gave them feedback on their prompts. This kind of prompt scaffolding, this blue color is a scaffolding group, turned out to be very effective. It improved writing knowledge and writing performance of students in their Korean language class. Interestingly, if you see this orange color control group, students who used generative AI without any scaffolding, actually they showed a slight decline here to here in their writing performance. It's so interesting. And the scaffolding group created more prompts about writing strategies, reasons and evidence, opposing positions, and feedback on their argumentative writing. We believe that these kind of prompts might be helpful to improve the students' writing skills and writing knowledge. But the control group often asks the AI to simply write the essay instead of them. So this kind of prompt might not be helpful to improve their knowledge. These studies give us several important implications. First, AI with CSCL is an interdisciplinary field, and it always has been. Second, AI can serve as a real partner in human learning, particularly in collaborative learning. Third, we should use AI tools pedagogically based on CSCL learning theories and design principles. Additionally, in the field of CSCL, we need new theories and more empirical research on collaborative learning between learners and AI. After all, AI may be smarter than humans in some ways, not always, but it is often difficult to fully understand the behavior of AI because it is usually based on kind of black box model, deep learning. Research on human AI collaboration will open up a new chapter in CSCL. Thank you for your attention, and if you have any question, please ask it to us.
Thank you, Elizabeth and Byung-Han. If there are questions, you may please post them in the Q&A box so that Alvin and I can keep monitoring them. Meanwhile, just I'd like to get started with one of the questions, and either of you could take this. But I was very curious by Yonghan, your result about how in the human condition versus the human AI condition, the students were actually more focused on the conversation or the topic of the learning rather than on maintaining sort of this interaction with the partner. So there is this understanding somehow that this partner is not human, so you do not need to regulate their emotions or their state of mind or those kinds of things, right? So two questions sort of emerge from this, right? What is the impact of culture on this sort of interaction? Specifically, how do you think that the culture that we grow up in might impact how we interact with AI? And two, what does this sort of mean? Because very often with collaboration, we use collaboration as a way to foster interpersonal skills. So if we are now collaborating with AI, what does this mean for our development of human to human interpersonal skills? And I'd appreciate your thoughts on both of them, either of you. Thanks.
Okay. I think I believe that the social culture may influence the interaction between learners and AI. When I interviewed the students, they said the context, social norms, that kind of things influence their interaction patterns. So I agree with you. And actually, in the collaborative learning process, we usually share some ideas, make a kind of a ground to discuss about a specific topic. For example, the role of learners, partners, and what is the procedure of discussion kind of things. But when learners interact with the AI, they seem not to worry about that kind of a format or procedure because I think learners think they have more control than the AI. So they directly ask a question or more focus on the content or task of writing an argumentative solution kind of thing. And for your second question, I think initially I tried to apply the collaborative problem-solving skills or collaborative learning components. Yeah, those developed by the research on human-to-human collaboration to human-to-AI collaboration. But I think there is some gaps between human-to-human collaboration research and human-to-AI collaboration research. So one example is that usually when we collaborate with humans, we do kind of a socially shared regulation. So it's a kind of we ask the opinion of others kind of thing. So it's a kind of a group level regulation activity. But when we collaborate with the AI or when we interact with the AI, the humans should play more important role in regulation, kind of making a plan, monitoring, and changing the strategy. So I think it's kind of the role of a human is more important in the interaction with the AI. But some students they just too much rely on AI, and they do not pay attention on to the metacognitive role of the human part. So that we need a kind of different theories when we study human AI collaboration.
Yeah, just to build on that, so I think the social aspect or the self-regulation aspect with AI, because the AI is, I mean, especially when the student is collaborating with the AI agent, there is, I mean, the students can write anything, and the AI agent, they also need to know how to deal with the AI agent, because I know some agents, they will never end the conversation, so the student has to figure out a way to end the conversation. So the regulation part on the students, I think that there are probably, this is probably when more theories need to come in to know how students will regulate themselves with an AI, because there are the social aspect as well as the functional on the learning, and also, as well as the learning aspect. So in some studies that I've heard of, the students who are actually generally high performing already, they actually know how to get the information that they need from the AI and then proceed. But for students who are actually slightly lower performing, they don't know what they don't know, and they don't know how to continue, asking the right questions, asking questions that can help them in their progress. Yeah, so there's also this aspect of figuring out what questions they need to know, and then sometimes they have very long conversations with AI, but it's not useful for their learning. Yeah, so that's also another part that it will. I mean, more work needs to be done to understand, and also to help the students, so that when they learn AI, it's the most beneficial, and also something that they don't over depend on, like what Yong mentioned.
Yeah, thank you, Yong-Han and Elizabeth. I think just to build a little bit on that, because this is a webinar on the evolution of CSCL, right? Whereby we're talking about human to human and human to computers and AI. So just a question to both of you on the future of CSCL and like in AI and education. What do you actually think will be like the ideal CSCL model of the future, whether it will still remain like a pure human to human or partial human to AI, or maybe like a hybrid of both? And why would you think it to be that way? So this question is open to both speakers.
Well, I think we should consider kind of hybrid intelligence or hybrid kind of actors, because I think AI will play more and more important roles in our everyday lives. So I think Elizabeth showed us that AI can support, enhance our collaboration between humans and humans. And I also showed some examples about how AI directly help learners get kind of a human AI interaction. There will be many different kinds of interaction or collaboration between humans and AI, or humans and human kind of things. So I think we should consider how AI and humans can coexist in the future, and how they help with each other in an education part. Because I have some concern that AI will kind of have a negative impact on learners in an educational setting. I think that is not what we hope in the future. So we should design the learning environments or school system, how AI can enhance human intelligence, and how we can make a kind of hybrid intelligence system in school. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Yong. So thanks for the question, Alvin. Definitely hybrid intelligence is one of that 2x2 dimension, that framework of typology. It is I mean, it's where I would say the most innovation can happen, where the AI agent is learning with or together, or as a student is learning with or together with the AI, and it's happening, I mean, more and more already. But I want to highlight one of the discussion points that we also talked about was that all these need to be done in a very pedagogical manner. I know now a lot of people are experimenting, exploring, but there are also established or existing theories that we build on, and new theories that I mean, from the patterns that you see that can be derived and further built on. But I like just to highlight that, yeah, so all this must be done in a pedagogical manner. So whichever, because I mean, nowadays they are talking about not Gen AI anymore, but agentic AI, and I don't know what's the next next technological trend in the next few years or tens of years. So whatever happens, that's why we always highlight the need for theories to guide our where we are, to guide our learning, to guide the implementations. So as we partner with AI, as long as it's used in a pedagogical manner, and also with the constraints as well as the caveats with all theories, and where the limits are, in that sense, the guardrails that need to be there to help in our learning. So where do I see AI going with CSCL is definitely, you'll see a lot more work and development in this space. It might be really very seamless, it won't be like it might go to a time in the future where students or she's e-learning is always with an AI, because that could be the trend in the future. It's always there, but then the issue would be if I remove the AI, what would happen to my learning? So I guess that's why it's good to experiment in both to see the effects of learning with AI and without the AI. Yeah, so but with AI, it's the way I would say it's already here, and how do we continue to design pedagogically to help optimize and make it most effective, yeah, in all ways, yeah, holistically.
Yeah, thanks, Johan and Elizabeth. We do have a question from the floor. So you can also click open the Q&A to see the question, but I'm just going to concise it slightly. So the person is asking whether when it comes to the fourth quadrant of human AI collaboration, or what we call hybrid learning, do you think there will be an emphasis on development of human-to-human interactions? I think this with consideration of declining literacy levels among young people. So they are feeling that it's not going to just affect reading skills, but also oral and textual communication skills. So this person is actually a middle school teacher, anonymous, but at the same time, they're actually wondering if students, when they fight each other, when they fail to transmit intentions and to interpret the intentions, how should we actually go about this?
Thanks so much for your question. I think even the first question earlier alluded to this point of what some things that we gain as well as some things that we lose when we interact with an AI, in this example of hybrid intelligence. Because the AI is very polite most of the time. They're programmed or designed to be polite and be a learning companion to students. But in cases when they then deal with other students, or they try to interact with humans again, right? Back to humans, and their intentions might not be so clear, or there's misinterpretations and so on. So how does the learner, in a sense, be able to still function well and thrive in a human only world, or human with some AI world, because there's no AI mediator in between. Yeah, so I think, like in Yong's studies that he mentioned, there's some pros and cons that he has also showed from his studies. So there are things that might be better, but there are things that they might not realize, or that it might neglect. So I try. I also just now I try suggest that actually it's holistic. Yeah. So I guess it has to do with what do we want our students to learn. So with the AI, so if communication skills is also part of that whole learning skills, the learning skills that they need to learn, then that aspect of learning needs to be in sense part of that the curriculum within or the learning chatbot needs to also highlight that as part of the learning progress or as in the interaction. Yeah, so I mean, we don't have answers. I mean, I don't have answers, but I think it's also trying to build in these scaffolds to help the learners to learn in holistic ways, not only in like topic content ways, but also communication skills, other social regulation skills that they may need.
Johan, do you want to add on anything?
Yeah, I agree with Elizabeth. Actually, social emotional skills are more important in the age of AI because I think we need to develop both how both the human AI interaction competence and human interaction competencies. So yeah, I think in the age of AI, we should consider what we should teach. So this question is very, I think, important, and I believe that social emotional skills are more important in nowadays. Yeah.
Thank you. I think looking at the time now, we should probably pass the time back to Linka to probably to close the session.
Before she goes to that, I have a few announcements that we want to quickly share,
Okay.
if you don't mind. So this is also this representing the some are representing this SIG. APSCE, which is this organization, is we have the annual conference. Is this year in Chennai? I believe Aditi will be there, right?
Yes.
Yes, so these are details if you want to know about it. So this is a slide you can screenshot if you want to screenshot. And then those are in the Learning Analytics. This is the next year, there's Learning Analytics and Knowledge Conference 2026. And then those in the CSCL, there's the ISLS 2026. The deadline is actually in October if you're intending to go for that conference. And next year also, there's going to be International Conference of Learning Evidence and Analytics, ICLEAR, with 3 other theme-based conferences, part of APSCE, and these are the details if you want to take a look. And last but not least, the Learning Journal. A few of us here are from the Learning Journal. There's going to be a special issue about rethinking collaboration in the age of hybrid human AI intelligence for learning. So more details will be out soon. The call will be out soon, but it's targeted for next year, 2026 as a special issue. So these are, I would say, more developments in the field that will help to understand more about learning and CSCL and AI. Yeah. Over to you, Linka.
Yes, thank you. First, thank you, Elizabeth and Young, for presenting, and Aditi and Alvin leading the discussion, and obviously also to the audience coming with questions and listening in and so forth. Yeah, before we all log off, please take a moment to give feedback to the webinar. And I think there's a slide coming in. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to share this. Yeah, there it is. Thank you. And also this was created by a special interest group of APSCE for CSCL and learning sciences. So if you're interested in more of the work we're doing, check the website or contact us as conveners. Yeah, that's basically it from me or from us. Yeah, thank you, and hopefully see you soon at one of the conferences. And thank you, Elizabeth, again for sharing kind of an overview of one of the conferences or at a special interest group meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, we're right on time. So thanks so much for organizing. Hold on, the survey can't be accessed. Oh.
Yeah, the QR code.
We're just getting feedback that the survey website cannot be accessed. So maybe we can share an adapted link on this with the webinar, which is also with the webinar link. That would be great, and we can put it on the website. So if you wouldn't mind going back again to the APSCE website where they feature the seminars to give you feedback, that would be great. And we're trying to fix this in the meantime. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.